On July 20th, 2012, the National Archives at Atlanta, in partnership with the U.S. Immigration and Citizenship Services, Atlanta Field Office, the City of Morrow, and Carrabba's Italian Grill, hosted a naturalization ceremony for 150 new citizens from 80 different countries. This video captures the spirit and emotion of the day and provides first-hand testimony of what coming to America means to an individual and their family. We are a land of immigrants. Our society is forever shaped by our shared immigrant experience. One that has provided famous scientists, entertainers, and statesmen, as well as farmers, merchants, teachers, professionals, civic leaders, and heroic defenders of our country. Nowhere did this human drama play out so powerfully than at Ellis Island. From 1890 to 1930, 27 million people entered the United States, 20 million through Ellis Island. The majority of these immigrants came from Europe, with significant concentrations from Austria, England, France, Germany, Italy, Norway, Sweden, and the Soviet Union. They came to the shores of America fleeing religious and political persecution and seeking hope, opportunity, and freedom. The journey from immigrant to citizen is profound and compelling, but can be shrouded in family folklore and legend. Fortunately, the holdings of archival institutions like the National Archives bear witness to the official process, oftentimes with great emotional impact.
Coming to 1941, it was the first hit the soil there. And I remember that I was met by a social worker who could speak French, which was all I could speak at the time. It took a long time for me to get my citizenship. I was almost 9 when I came here, and I was probably around 22 or so when I got my citizenship after being in the United States Army. I started years and years ago just trying to find things about my roots, and piece by piece I would find little pieces of the photograph here, the photograph there. Yeah, I think it's wonderful that Ms. Tomlin was able to find my petition for naturalization. I didn't know that that existed anywhere, and to find it in all these boxes of stuff is incredible.
My grandfather's been dead for about 30 years, but he's very revered in my family. And so that has just been, in what I've known about him, and I've just understood him to be an Ellis Island immigrant. Then in doing some research on this here in the archives in Atlanta, and using some of the web resources that you guys have, the digital resources, I discovered, in fact, that he did not come through Ellis Island. There's no record of my grandfather having come through there. However, there's a record that he entered the United States in 1902 through the St. Albans list, which would mean that he came from Canada to Vermont. This is a whole new chapter in this story. That's the first that I've heard about it.
My uncle, my father's brother, was already in the United States, and he came in 1964. So he sponsored my family, and that's how we left Cuba. We left in July, and we left with the pretense that we were going to Mexico on vacation. Of course, we were never going to go back to Cuba, and so we spent the next 4 months in Mexico, where my parents went to the Mexican embassy every week to try to get visas for us to come into the United States, and that took about 4 months. When I first saw the petition for naturalization, it opened up 46 years of feelings and emotions and experiences that had been bottled up, and I reminisced about what it actually meant for me to come to America and to see that document. I was not aware that there was a petition for naturalization that my mother had completed, so I've printed it out and I have it on my desk, and I will always treasure my petition for naturalization.
There's so many ways that they can find out what are their roots, where do they come from, under what circumstances. And I think in addition to the scholarly research that can be done for academic purposes, they find that this satisfies a void in their own personal needs and their family history. And that's the chief value.
The National Archives holds in sacred trust a variety of documents that tell the collective stories of immigration and citizenship. They include, but are not limited to, census records, passenger arrival lists, certificates of arrival, declarations of intention, petitions for naturalization, and military service records. Other documents, such as slave manifests and Chinese Exclusion Act files, document our nation's legacy with forced and/or controlled immigration. New immigrants arrive daily to our shores with their own culture, history, traditions, and ideas. The challenge for all immigrants is to meld into society, all the while retaining their own traditions. If they are successful, it broadens and enriches our sense of what it means to be an American. Today's immigrants from Southeast Asia, Central and Latin America, and Europe will enrich our cultural fabric just as those immigrants who entered Ellis Island at the turn of the 20th century. As such, we remain true to our guiding principle of e pluribus unum. Out of many, one. Online resources are available at www.archives.gov/research/immigration.